Yeah.
website right now, checking it out. You got some amazing pictures.
Thank you. I'm so lucky because one of my good friends is like also an artist. She supports me. She sings background and stuff like that. And, it's so helpful. But she also like is a fashion designer and she also is a model. So it's like a one-stop shop with her. You know what I mean? Like she's very like, girl, I got you. Let's go ahead and do a shoot. Girl, book me, do a shoot, get on my calendar, get your stuff up. You know what I mean? So I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by artists that like do some really great things.
So, how did you get into? I'm gonna do some of the interview now. So, how did you get into working with the band?
You know what? I studied classical music for a long time, and when I got out of my master's program, it was COVID. And it had, because it was COVID times, like it really had me to assess what it was that I wanted to do in the music industry. Um, and it's not that I don't want to do classical music because I still do, but I knew that I had been like writing songs and stuff like that since I was a little girl. So I was like, you know what, I'll put me together a band. And there have been several iterations of the band. Shout out to those people. But when you are down in the South, it's like I had a lot of people telling me to do what I needed to do to make money, not necessarily do what it was that I wanted to do and what I wanted to create as an artist. And so because of that, I was doing a lot of cover bands and like, Motown stuff. And I still do it occasionally if I need to pay a bill, you know what I'm saying? And that wasn't necessarily what it was that I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted to be able to sing my own music and to create, like start building a world around my sound and my vibe. But through being able to do cover music, it introduced me to a network of musicians and like people that are really, really good at what they do. So because I started doing cover music, I ended up connecting with a wonderful musician who actually was moving back up to Boston to school where I had just come from. And he was just like, yeah, I'm seeing you out here doing the Anita Baker, Whitney Houston's tribute, all that stuff. Like, that's really good. I know of some musicians who like, because I would throw some originals in there, but only just a couple. But he was like, I know of some musicians that you need to reach out to be able to form the band. So, everything has its purpose and its season. I'm grateful that I got to be in the Chitlin circuit and then I still got homies in the Chitlin circuit and I be still hanging out with them because all I had to do was like have the vision for the band and then be in the position to find the people who could like help bring my music to life. So that's how I found them.
All right, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? I know where you're from, but our audience do not know where you're from.
Yeah, yeah. I'm from High Point, North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? 336. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Definitely, and that's dope because this is a North Carolina radio station, as you know, and I am in North Carolina also. So, what a lot of people here in North Carolina try to say that artists do not support each other. In North Carolina, they always compare it to Atlanta. Say Atlanta, stand up for each other. Do you feel that way, or have you seen that? Do you see a community of artists actually working together?
Yeah, I mean, I actually used to live in Atlanta before my family moved to High Point. We sort of bounced around, but I moved to High Point when I was like 5, so I'm from High Point. And being there in Atlanta first person as a child, but I do visit as an adult and seeing the differences. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's just about, artists not supporting each other here. I think it's also about like people not necessarily having the funding or the resources to support people in the way that they want to, as well as the business acumen and understanding of like what the infrastructure should look like so that it's sustainable. I see a lot of artists supporting each other all the
Yeah,
time. I mean, literally just last night, I was at my homie's nonprofit, music nonprofit foundation's event, like donating my time, intelligence, and energy to support his stuff. I was at another person's event, the week before. And then there's another person. Like there's definitely a network of artists that are supporting each other. I think figuring out how to organize everybody to attain like one macro level goal is where it can seem like we're not really supporting each other. And you know what, too? I will say, I think when it comes to radio stations and stuff that are like the, sort of like the big ones, what are the tier one radio stations that everybody has in their car and stuff like that? I think that they could support
terrestrial.
artists.
terrestrial
more.
radio.
Would you say?
You're talking about terrestrial FM radio.
Yeah, yeah. I think they could definitely support artists a lot more, local artists a lot more. I
They
think we do have
do.
certain pockets of that.
I'm on a few terrestrial stations, and usually what they do when they support indie artists is usually on the mix shows. The mix show DJs, for the most part, we can play an indie artist on the terrestrial FM radio stations. So,
Mm,
like me, I can play your song in. I'm not on North Carolina radio. They straight up ignored me, the FM stations. So,
yeah,
but I am in California
yeah,
and Alabama, so I can take your song to those platforms. And they ignored me now, but I'm building up my name, so soon I might be on North Carolina FM. But I could do it with the mix show. And then also I just noticed our local station that I wanted to get on, they just started an indie show because I think they be watching me. So
mm,
even though they ain't gonna put me on the station, they still keeping up with me. And so I do see an indie show.
yeah,
Sometimes just because they supposed to do community outreach, those stations, so they do have like little slots, or you might have an evening show where they play a different indie artist every day, and
right.
they call it the Pump It or Dump It show. So most stations have that. Yeah, terrestrial radio, but you're gonna get more support from satellite
Yes,
or internet radio, which is the new thing because internet radio is ran by people who would have bought FM stations, but getting the LCC license is so hard. So we like forget all of that. We might as well just create a internet station.
yeah. And you guys are the ones that are like the most supportive, you know? Like I have a song Crying Brian and she's doing okay. She's on Sirius XM Heart and Soul, but like I've also had experience with these North Carolina radio stations trying to get on in my state is a little crazy when it comes to like them FM stations. And I think that they could definitely be more supportive as it relates to local art and local talent. But I also, like you said, with the satellite radios and internet read DJs and stuff like that, that underground vibe is like still alive, and I think it's a huge network in North Carolina specifically. So yeah, we might not necessarily have, a good understanding of infrastructure and what it is we want to build and how we want to build it like they might have in Atlanta where there's a little bit of a clear pathway. But I absolutely say that, there are pockets of artists that support each other. It's just I think we're all at the same time figuring out exactly what we want to build in this current crazy world that we're living in.
And I think that the Atlanta music scene was built off in the strip clubs and illegal activities. You got to say that too. So North Carolina don't have that money and that all of that. So, like, tell me, like, how did you become an artist? Did you sing in church or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, I did sing in church. So my father is a musician, so I was exposed to a lot of different music very, very early. But originally, I wanted to be a lawyer. I
Oh,
like
yes.
always enjoyed singing, but like I was gonna be a lawyer, even though I was like super passionate about music. It just seemed sort of like there were a lot of things going on in the world, and like the way in which I might be able to contribute to that in a positive way was going to be through law school. I sang in church, I did theater. I'm a theater kid, so I love acting and storytelling and stuff like that as well. I sang in a few opportunities at school and in community theater. And then my senior year of my undergraduate experience, I had a cousin who passed away. And it was a messed up situation, but he was young. And it sort of sparked something in me to live my life the way that I wanted to live my life and like be upfront about who I am and what I want. And I was supposed to go to law school in the fall. And I was supposed to go to Emory University. And I remember like they had sent me an email the day that I decided about like, okay, here's your information. We're gonna get you a plane ticket. You with the Black student group, like come out here, we'll introduce you to everybody, get you set up, like build you into this network of people. And I went downstairs and I told my parents, I was like, you guys, I think I want to pursue music. And it was very ironic because my dad was like, being in the industry, he kind of knew, it's not the best place for a woman. But in making that decision, then I really got into classical music. and I had studied it in college as well, but like my master's program is what really solidified me in sort of like studying European classical art. And it gave me like a really good technique for just like maintaining the health of my voice. And yeah, that's, I would say, like, I've always sort of been singing, but my start in music, my start like singing like for real, and I'm not playing, was definitely like making the decision as an adult to really pursue this career path.
Awesome. So, what was the first song that you ever released, and how did it feel when you heard yourself, when you heard your recording?
Yeah, yeah. So after I told my dad that what I wanted to do, there was like I said, a moment of contention because, daddy, like, huh, what you mean? And I played him this song that I had written on guitar. And I had written it about some of the struggles and injustices that I had experienced in undergrad at my school, UNC Chapel Hill. They had this Confederate statue called Silent Sam. And a lot of my classes were on the part of campus where that statue was. And it started to become, dangerous for students to be out there because they had KKK members and a lot of, angry white folks out there. Mind you, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to go to class. And so I became involved in that movement and I learned a lot about the history of the school, the history of my people. And I already, like I said, I wanted to be an attorney. So I already knew a whole lot of information, but I think it was different seeing it. And I was so inspired that I wrote the song called Uncle Sam. And I played it for my dad, and my dad was like, this little knucklehead might be able to pull this off. So, he hooked me up with his studio where he goes to record his music. And he even plays bass on my song, which is really cool. And yeah, I wrote it and I recorded it and I dedicated it to the activists that were on campus doing amazing, amazing work. They had legal fees. And I was like, hey, put my song on there. And I was just happy to be down with the movement. And luckily, some of the main activists who were doing the bulk of the organizing seemed to enjoy my song. So I felt really good that I could create a piece of art that, like, for one, meant a lot to me. The song still means a lot to me. I really enjoy that song, but also could mean a lot to people that I had grown close with when I was at school.
So, how do you take that with when you perform with your band, like, and also with the rise of the white supremacists and these militia groups? That song should definitely resonate with people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the band, I love them a whole lot. They're really amazing people. And I think that like I said, I've been really, really lucky talking about artists in North Carolina supporting each other. I've been so lucky to like connect with artists that don't just rock with me musically because I got XYZ opportunities. Like they also like we have conversations as people, you know what I mean? Like we pull up to rehearsal, somebody got a book. Oh, what are you reading? Oh, how's this? Um I got invited to my keyboard player's wedding. Like he and I built up such a friendship that he, had me and a couple of my friends also like be on their guest list. Like it's been so helpful to be transparent with them and for them to be aligned with me and to trust me as a front woman to allow me to make music like that. And so, like, if you come to one of my band shows, you'll hear music similar to Uncle Sam. You'll hear music that is also operatic. If I get the mood and I'm like, I want to sing this really pretty opera song to sort of tie it in, I think like the main theme work when it comes to the band is storytelling. Like we all really love neo soul music. We all really love R&B music. We all are music geeks, period. And we listen to so much music. And so like having that grounding in like Black American sound, like that bluesy neo soul type of music is fundamental to what we do. But also what's even more fundamental than that is like telling really good stories and making really good musical experiences so that the audience that comes can feel like they're seen and not just in the way of like, oh, I'm going to try to make you feel like you want to party and that's it. Or, oh, I want to make you feel like super introspective. Like, no, like I want people to come to my show and feel like all parts of them have just been made like laid open bare for everybody to see. Like we're gonna party a little bit, we might cry, and we're probably gonna laugh because I fancy myself an amateur comedian. So it plays into that really well. And then your other question around the rise of white supremacy, yeah, there's a lot of that. Yes, there's a lot of that, and I think that in some respects, my music that is like my song Uncle Sam specifically has been received really positively by people who align themselves, but it also makes it really easy to see who's on that sort of white supremacist type of time. And to that, you know what I say? Like, okay, I'm glad that we can see you now.
Definitely, because I was part of this DJ coalition that was led by white supremacists. I didn't know, but
Mhm.
he started acting funny. He was calling himself the White Tupac. So I told another guy that is on the station, we might need to leave. He's not acting right. And
Yeah,
just recently, he got arrested by the FBI for white supremacy, and we roasted him on the radio show. So the
I
FBI
love this.
got him. So, and there's a rise of other people just like him. Matter of fact, they were scared that he was gonna do like Dylan Roof, and
Yeah,
they had passed around his picture to all the places just to be alert of him. So yeah, so definitely your song definitely is gonna resonate. What are some of the other songs that you have put out that might impact people's life?
yeah. Recently, the one that everyone's been paying attention to, which is fine, which is fine. I don't have favorites when it comes to my songs, but it's funny because it's like you release a project and you don't know what people are gonna like, and I'm like constantly surprised. It's a song called "Crying Brian." And it's funny because on that song, it was really very cathartic, and I was really joking. It was a real situation. I'm sorry if you hear my cat in the background. She's having a time. I am a cat mom,
Okay.
single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. That's my baby. She's being quiet right now. I think she senses that mama was about to get her. All right. Anyways, yeah, so I wrote it about this situation with the ex boyfriend of mine. His name is not Brian. I just chose Brian because Brian rhymes with crying. And I was telling this story basically of how like the dynamic between our relationship changed because he wanted to basically go around and do what he wanted to do, but he didn't like it when I went around and did what I had to do. You see what I'm saying? Like the tables turned. He didn't like that. And this had been like years ago. Like I'm in a super healthy, happy relationship now. I wasn't feeling no kind of way, but when I was coming together with my latest project called In the Present, which is an EP of 4 songs, me and my producer was talking. He was like, "You kind of need like a little smack talking song. Like you need a little something that's a little, you know what I'm saying? Like a little." To sort of just round out the dynamic of the project. So I was just like, I don't know, I'm in such a happy mood. So I had to like go back and dig that up. But the response to it has been so great to see because I love, championing issues. And as a woman who knows what it feels like to be cheated on and to be disrespected, for this song to resonate with women everywhere and to at least give them a little laugh, because people be like, dang, what you say? Dang, he was doing that. Girl, it's like that. Like, that sort of comedic relief to the album when you can just sort of pop your stuff and let people know what's up and let people know not to play with you. Like that's been something that's been resonating with audiences lately. And I'm glad that they can appreciate the authenticity because when I was going through it, obviously I was big up in myself a little bit, but it didn't necessarily feel good. So to be able to be seen by other people and for people to be like, girl, I done been there too, it's like a very vindicating feeling. And I think it's helping me to create connection with my audience for sure.
So I know that you have been played on this show many times, the Grindhard Mix Show. So how did it feel to be featured on the Grindhard Mix Show? And how did it feel when you first heard yourself on radio in general, whether it's terrestrial, satellite, or internet?
I mean, it felt amazing. It still feels amazing. Like this music thing is not for the faint of heart. And oftentimes I feel like, yo, what am I doing? Can I even sing? Like do I even do I know how to write music? Like you really start to question yourself and your space in the industry. You're like, yo, I don't know if I have anything really meaningful to contribute to this. And so when you have your song in public spaces and you have the support of radio stations like yours and other radio stations and stuff, like it grounds you in that sense of like, no, no, like there are people out here that see you and that rock with your art that you are creating. And that means something, that means everything. That's the type of stuff that keeps me like motivated and continuing to like grow when things get difficult or when I feel like I got writer's block and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Like it's an amazing feeling. And I feel a lot of gratitude to you for you and other radio stations and stuff that support my music.
All right, so this is the Grind Hard Show, and we do not let anybody come up here. We only feature the people that's grinding, and you're grinding as a solo artist and as a band member. So I do not want to keep you. But tell us about your latest project, a little bit more about your latest project, and tell us how we can connect with you.
Absolutely. Okay, so the latest project that I have dropped is called the In the Present EP. I released it earlier this year, top of this year. And I would say, like, if you like neo soul vibes, the project really focuses on different aspects of love. You got like self love, godly love, you got sensual love, you have just deep, unfiltered, unconditional romantic love. And then, of course, you also got that like smack talking type of love. I'm a lover girly, so that's really what the project is centered on. I have another project that I'm going to be releasing later this year. We're still in the throes of figuring out exactly what songs are going to go on the EP. So if you don't want to miss that, you want to reach out to me on all social media platforms at Songbird and Symphony. The name of my band is called the Neo Symphony. So I'm the Songbird, and my homies are the Neo Symphony. And you can also go to my website, www.kkay-songbird.com.
Right, that is awesome. Do you have any shout outs or any closing words?
Oh my goodness, yes. I gotta say shout out to my parents and to my daddy, even though he was so confused as to why I decided to quit law school to do music. They are so supportive, and they have a restaurant in Greensboro on South Holden Road called the Uncle Rob Restaurant. You will occasionally see me there in the venue singing to y'all while y'all are eating y'all good soul food. So come on down if you in Greensboro and support a Black owned business.
Definitely. I thank you for coming to the show, and I appreciate you.
I thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And I'm, hopefully looking forward to coming back and talking to y'all and just being in touch.
Yeah, definitely. When you got a project, make sure you come here first because we'll definitely run it up for you, and we'll definitely send it to all our affiliate stations. And we maybe next time you come back, we'll be on 100 stations.
I believe it. And I'm calling it into fruition for you. You guys do amazing work, and you guys have like such a beautiful ethos as it relates to supporting artists. So absolutely.
All right,
Call me into it.
talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Thank
All right.
you.